and we're here for the weekly crypto review with MooAnt. How's it going, Moo?
Going great. Super busy. We had a really nice warm day the other day, and now it's cold again. So we got some snow last weekend and some things. So, we're starting to get into our springtime here, and it's going to slowly warm up. So that's kind of nice. We had some really amazing warm days in February, and it was really nice being able to, go outside and work on the house or, whatever, go for a walk, go for a run in shorts. Kind of neat. But that's something you really don't have to deal with anymore. You have some wonderful weather where you're at. I can see the sun shining on your face.
Well, I'll tell you, it was chilly the other night. We were watching football, and I was really glad I took a pullover down, and I was talking to my neighbor about it, and she goes, "Oh, don't you remember last year when around this time it was really super windy, and it was windy from, January to June?" And I was like, well, I wasn't here until June, but last year, but I was certainly, very pleased to have been not in north of where you are. This time last year, but it can get chilly, like with the high winds and stuff in the evening. And I made a joke and I said, maybe I'm not further south. We're walking away from the football game at 9 o'clock. I'm like, maybe we're not further south. We need to go further south. But anyways, yeah. So it's been a busy week on the market. Lots of ups and downs, lots of things going on. But when we logged on here, you were waiting to get in to see the court decision on Sam Bankman-Fried, because that's supposed to be today.
Yeah, I've got a live tweet feed over, looking at it right now as people are coming forward. They allowed a few victims to speak. Sam speaking right now. The judge is obviously very, very upset, and rightfully so. So yeah, he's going to get sentenced today. So we'll know probably during the broadcast, hopefully, how many years. I created a little poll if anybody wants to, take a stab at it over there. I only have so many options, so I can only put in 5 different blocks. But anyway, I want, because we do have people in the chat, I want to get, I can't really hear your mic very well. It sounds like maybe you're not directly speaking into a mic, but maybe the microphone from your computer is picking you up or something.
Okay, possibly. Does this sound better?
Sounds way better.
Okay, I'll just put it right in front of me. Yeah, I'll just put it right in front of me. It was just too far away.
Oh, okay. All right, good.
All right, great. Thanks.
Just wanted to make sure the audio was okay. Seemed fine in the green room, but yeah. So the SBF sentencing is today, so we'll take a look at that as we move on. And there's been a lot of cool things in crypto. I know we got a lot of questions. Couldn't really get to them all last week, but yeah. Why don't we go ahead and kind of get started here? If you guys do have a question, go ahead and put it over in the right-hand side, and I'll read it. And then in a few minutes, we'll go over to Sam's Discord and take a look. Lisa says, what will the judge decide to do with the $2 billion request from the SEC to Ripple?
I think he's going to throw that out.
The fine was $1.9 billion, and it looks like Ripple was going to appeal that. So I think that's where it's at.
Yeah, it's not going to go ahead, I don't feel like.
Okay. Here's another one. This one's from Soul Man. And sorry, guys, I'm a bit distracted. I got a bunch of windows open, monitoring lots of things this morning. If you're in Dogecoin, I'm sure you're having a wonderful week. There's lots of other things running too. It's just been a great week in cryptos. Bitcoin is about to break its all-time high, so it's pretty awesome. Soul Man says, question, it looks like our run to June, the narrative is clearly RWA projects and all projects that are tied to ETF talk, then finally gaming. Is that what you guys are seeing too? Any other projects such as Matic, ADA, and others are just getting caught up in the wave due to the amount of cash inflow into crypto?
Well, I think there's a lot going on with everybody. A lot of people forget that, there's an awful lot of people. Like when I talk to people who are in cryptos, I find a lot of them hold some Matic. It seems to be just like Cardano. A lot of people hold that. Just like a number of years ago, when I first got into cryptos, it seemed like every single person had XRP. Like every single person that I had met had XRP, maybe some Doge. But now it seems that, it's Matic and Cardano. So I don't feel like they're going up just because they're going to be caught up in the wave, even though that may be part of it. I think that a lot of these projects, they all take different turns. Just like there's new projects coming out, why it's a mistake not to, investigate the new things that are out there. But also you don't want to get trapped with FOMO, where, something goes up 10 times and then you decide to, cash out a good project that has been, slowly moving forward because it's not moving fast enough for you. I would imagine that happens to a lot of people like Doge. Doge was slow. It was slow to move, but now it's moving. It seemed that everything takes its turns. And that's why I just tell folks, listen, just spread your bets. I'm not interested in selling off any of my Polygon, but if I only had it, if it was like only one of 3 cryptos that I held and I had a big bag of it, oh, absolutely, I would split that sucker off and put it in some other things. So it really just comes down to how you're situated, because I felt like this run, that it didn't really matter so much what people were in, because we would even see those SHIT coins run, stuff that had no business running. We've already started to see some chains that are combining their efforts together, and there are other ones that you thought were dead. They're getting picked up again, or maybe people have been working all along and they just were not vocal about it. I mean, I don't know devs as people who are really good at marketing themselves and their projects. They're developers. They put their head down and they're nerding out on what it is they're working on. They're not thinking about getting the word out about this, cool little development that helps the commits move along faster, even though that would be a big deal, I'm sure. And also people like myself who are just amateurs in blockchain. I do, even after 5 years, I do consider myself and still an amateur compared to the people who are out there. And I have to look at the basics. And I mean, if there's a few million people holding wallets for a particular crypto, I think it would be a mistake to say that its days are over. I mean, when everything starts running really big, people are going to buy what they have access to. I think the number one thing, regardless of whether you hold Matic or ADA or some of these new ones, like maybe you hold some SUI, maybe you went and got a whole bunch of Uniswap. It looks like Arbitrum, Uniswap. I mean, everyone might start piling into those soon, because it seems that, you always get the rumors out and, oh, it's meme coins now. And then people all get into their meme coins. And I think what it comes down to is just remember to press the button this time. Like, don't always be looking for a 100 times return. It's okay to take profit when something is like 3 times its value, because you know what? You just bought it a few weeks ago. It's okay to scoop up some profit.
Yeah. Yep. I absolutely agree. And so, man, there's just so many narratives now, and I don't think every person is capable of being very knowledgeable in all these sectors all at the same time. I think if you work in this industry, I think if you eat, breathe, and sleep this market, I think if you're a technical person, maybe you have a better hand. But if you're kind of just a casual retail person, I think it's hard. I think it's hard to keep up with everything. And I don't think people should. I think they should find what they're good at, and that, quote unquote, be in projects that they understand. I almost said the I word. Probably shouldn't say that. So anyway, yeah, things like that. So yeah, I like all these sectors. It's very interesting to see BlackRock competing now with Franklin Templeton for the RWA stuff. I think it's great. Like we told you over on Nerds, if anybody's over there. From here, they've been there a long time. Legacy's been there a long time. So, yeah, I mean, the whole market's going up. Obviously, some projects are not going to make it. It just happens every cycle. But I'm seeing lots of projects do very, very well. So, Matthew's got one here. Any thoughts on Ergo? Seems interesting. I'm not very familiar with this one. And I want to be careful to kind of show, maybe not show things that I don't know about. Looks like Ergo is currently 17 cents. Its ticker is AERGO. I think that's the one you're talking about. Looks like the contract address has migrated. It's up 17% in the last 30 days. Let me go ahead and take a look at their website here. It says it's an open source hybrid blockchain. You can improve on your business efficiency and create new opportunities for both public and private projects. Sam, let me just kind of pull it up and see if you get anything, or maybe you already get something from this. I'm trying to share my screen here.
Well, it still has a lot of upside potential, especially where its volume is only in the single millions. and I see it has a ERC20 contract
Mm-hmm.
with Ethereum. It looks like I feel like it's easier to use for developers where it's hybrid. They have different options, so they're not going to run into the wall on a few things. Oh, I can't use this blockchain for what I'm trying to do because it's not functional, for example. Whereas Ergo, I feel like its popularity is probably going to be more of its malleability for use. And I would say if somebody has it, I mean, it has some good potential there. Especially where it's in the single millions right now, and it has a $500 million in the supply, which is another thing that you have to keep your eye on. And I'm just looking to see if it's the circulating supply. Yeah, it looks like they have the entire supply out. So Moo, when someone has their entire supply out, they can't release any more to raise funds.
Yeah, or early or angel investors can't, recoup. They've already got theirs. So I assume that's what this is. But the one thing there's several things that bother me, just not even knowing what this project is, just looking at this. They've been around since 2019. That's a long time to have a hybrid blockchain, right? I should know about this. I should know all sorts of people building on this. I should know tons of stuff about this if it's been around since 2019, and I don't. So that's a huge red flag for me. The 24-hour trading volume is only 2.3 million. So it's pretty low for this amount of tokens out there. So I would not be interested in this one. It's the only thing I could say. Yeah.
Yeah, it's number 605 on the list. And, and that is part of the point is, well, so many of them are going up. Like a lot of people are watching, unless a project in particular offers something different and outstanding, and it happens to be like number 4 or 500, then yeah, probably some good potential. But the reality is that the finance people coming in, they're going to be looking at really the top 100. I mean, nobody wants a project that goes to zero on them. And there's a good chance that if the further away you migrate out to, we call it Pluto, you migrate out there to the far edges of cryptocurrency, it definitely increases your odds. So something like this, if a person wanted to throw in, a few $100 or $1,000 in it and see what happens, go ahead. I think it has a good upside. The only problem is that it looks like they've already released every single, like they have no other, they're out of gas as far as that goes. Like they better make it on the upside, upselling it. Me personally, I would just look at some of the other cryptocurrencies that are out there that haven't moved yet.
And just because, the float is already out there does not mean that there's not huge angel investors, VCs, or hedgies that can still manipulate the price. So sometimes it's always not the best thing that all the tokens have been released. Like I said, this is a 5-year-old layer one, it looks like. So, it should have done something by now if it was going to do something. So, I mean, just look at how much interest there is in like a SUI, for example, compared to something like this. I mean, yeah. But I am not the crypto police. Everybody's got to do what they want to do there. Neo Knight's got one here. Hey, Sam and Moo, just wanted to ask for a blab on Atlas. Thanks.
Oh, yeah. Talking about numbers again, I see that Axie Infinity, which I've compared Star Atlas to, is at $11. And Axie went to, I think it was like 160. It went to, quite a significant high from its low that it was at. But what people have to keep in mind when I'm comparing the two is that Star Atlas has a much larger supply. So you add 2 more zeros onto the end of it, right? So it's appropriate that Star Atlas is in the pennies, right? So I don't expect to see it. Somebody said, Sam said she expected to see it at where Axie Infinity is. Well, mathematically, yes. Mathematically, but remember, there's 2 more zeros on Axie, right, than there is on Star Atlas. And so upside, yes, but it's not going to be anything more than Axie Infinity was before. So just watch that. It hasn't, Star Atlas hasn't run yet. It's experienced, quite a pullback. The FTX debacle almost, took them out from the sounds of it. But they are survivors. And I expect that when the gaming sector really takes off, because we haven't seen anything yet, I don't think. This is all just very much tip of the iceberg. You should see what's underwater. We talk a lot about waves and, you see this wave, but the wave that's behind it, all you see in the distance is that, oh, wow, this is a really big wave coming. That's even bigger than the one that's about to hit the shore. So when the gaming starts taking off, Axie Infinity, probably a good jump off price for that would probably be about $15, I think. That's a long way to go. You would have to take profits along the way for sure. But yeah, I definitely see Star Atlas as a survivor. And, would I buy some of it today? I wouldn't buy any of it today because I already have a big bag of it that I'm holding. And I'm only in sell-off mode. I'm in sell-off, check my price points. Some of the newer projects that didn't exist before, or some new things that are happening, yes, I'm looking at putting money into a few of those. But some of the older projects that still haven't taken off yet, I think it's just a matter of time. And Star Atlas is one of those examples.
Star Atlas absolutely looks incredible. Drill and Fill is really on top of a lot of the gaming stuff. The stuff I'm seeing from them, the Star Atlas game and what's coming, I think it's going to be really, really cool. I cannot wait to kind of dive deeper in there. There's other games doing well too. This is Echelon Prime. This thing has done really, really well. Shrapnel is a very awaited game. And if you have one of these characters or you have super tokens, there's ways that you can go ahead and qualify to get an airdrop of some skins for your weapons. But Shrapnel looks amazing. It's on Avalanche. Just looks like a killer game. Another amazing Avalanche game soon to be out here is Off the Grid. Yeah, so there's just great games now coming. Galaxy's got a whole bunch of just amazing games. If I take a look at the, if I just kind of sort by what's going on here. This is a miner. Obviously, Doge is doing pretty well today, up about 14%. I don't know if you still hold your bonk, Sam, but it's about almost 12%.
Oh, yeah, I get in on that late. So I was like, yeah I'm just going to have to wait till it runs again. So I held it.
Mara's doing well. Let's go ahead and take a look at maybe Bitcoin, see where that's at. I just want to make sure I leave enough time for questions here.
Yeah, we have just while you're going through that, there's one of our newer members here was just looking for suggestions for people who are just entering the market now, if they should wait for a pullback. And I'm a little bit of both, where it depends on what you're buying. And if something's just gone on a big run, we've seen it before. There's always the pullback. It's just that we find that the pullbacks are very close together. So if somebody's looking for something that is down, 25%, it's probably not going to happen, right? But if you look at a particular, it depends on the coin or token too. Like I know that Bitcoin, it moved by 15%. There's a lot of double digits in there. Oh, Doge, 38%. Is that on the week or?
Yeah, this is the week. BCH and a lot of things are doing well because of all the talk of potential future ETFs. So meaning Litecoin, Dogecoin, Bitcoin Cash.
Yeah. So, these are double digit moves. Always wait for the pullback, and the ones that pull back, those are the ones. That's how that's how I did it, is I watched the market in 2017 and I saw on average that there was a pullback. I think I can't remember the number exactly, but it was like an average of 15 to 19%. Like when it would go down, because the waves and stuff, it would go up and then it would go like that. And I say, okay, well, it seems like we're midway through a pullback. And then I would have my different coins and tokens. But then other times, like when the market was down, then I wouldn't really worry about if that particular token was up or down. But I remember timing is really great, because the first time I bought Doge, I remember it doubled the next day. And I was like, oh, that was a good choice. New in the market, right? You're like, oh, I'm so smart. I'm such a winner. That's the other thing too, is that for newer people coming in, I know you're going to feel like a bit of a rock star in a few months when Like, let's say you make like 100,000. I know people who were brand new in the market who made like $100,000 super easy. But you know what? They're not here anymore. They're not in the crypto market anymore.
Yeah, thanks for saying that. What I do when I come into something, I try and be early. I don't put money into things that I don't know or don't understand. I'm a technical person, so I like things that are useful, that are actually doing something, typically. Or there's just an undeniable huge narrative around it, that it's undeniable that people want to buy it. So, you know, sometimes the price goes up. So it's kind of what I do. I don't ever move a whole bunch of money in at one time. I dribble it in, and when I come out, I just slowly dribble it out. That's what I do. I think there's so many good projects. This whole space it's so much more mature than it even was just a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. So I don't think you're late to anything. I think there's all sorts of wonderful projects, and the financialization of these markets is really just beginning. So, you know, I know you probably want specific recommendations, but for me, I always think it's best to get some of the best stuff first and then go out into Pluto land or out on the risk curve. So that would be my suggestion. And everybody knows what I like. You know, I like Bitcoin. I like Bitcoin Cash. I like Ethereum a lot. You know, stuff like this. So
You like Solana?
love Solana. Solana's great.
Yeah,
So
you were a big proponent when it was like $8 and everybody was like running around like chickens with their heads cut off saying the sky is falling. And I was getting good news about Solana. I thought it was going to be the darling, just like Doge was in 2021. I felt like Solana was going to, and you confirmed that, you know, these guys are geniuses and this isn't going anywhere. And,
I agree. Yep.
You know, so we all held on, and we had big bags of it too, because I built my NFT on it. That was my choice, with Solana. So I mean, you know, it was a big chance to take, and I didn't feel nervous about it at all. And I was just thinking, gosh, you know, for anyone who's new in the market, like, you know, think about it this way: people are going to be like, wow, I can't believe you got Solana for $180, right?
I mean, yeah, I have so much more Solana now than I had back then. And that's really cool, right? Just because it got so low. But, you know, that's always nice when you can kind of begin this bull run again, and your bags are even more packed with the stuff that you really like. So, yeah.
Yeah, because it was too much money last time. It was like hundreds of dollars. I was like, what is that one? Solana. And it was like, I think it was already $200 or $400. And I was like, oh, I guess I missed that one. And then when it had the big pullback, I was like, oh, well, this isn't so terrible. You know, I'm very thankful for that. And actually a lot of people, just last year, I thought it was going to be the summer of Doge, and I apologized to everyone. I was off again. And I even said last year, I was like, oh no, I can't be off by a whole year. I can't be off. Oh no, that would be too long. I was like, I'll wait anyways. I'll wait for Doge, right? It'll go, right? And then I'm saying, oh yeah, okay, this is the summer of Doge coming up. But a lot of people had an opportunity to buy some Doge. I didn't ask you about how you felt about Bitcoin in the long term, because a lot of people are talking about Bitcoin hitting, you know, that it'll be worth $1 million. How do you feel about that move?
It's obvious that it's the first one to be financialized. I'm seeing all sorts of financial products be built out. I'm seeing layer twos, real money flying into layer twos for Bitcoin. I'm seeing layer twos being built on chains like Solana to handle Bitcoin. So that's pretty interesting. There's a project coming up. This is not investment advice, just something you might want to go research. It's called Zeus. But it is basically a Bitcoin layer 2 on Solana. So, you know, I don't like to give price. I feel like I'm always disappointing someone, or I short circuit them, because I might say something in a price and they're going to wait. They're just going to hold out and wait for this price, and almost like not pay attention to what actually is going on, or not make their own decisions. And I don't think that's a good idea. So let's just say I see it being much higher than it is today. We're about to go to, you know, the reward is basically 900 Bitcoins are being produced a day in less than a month. On 420, we're going to go to 450 produced a day. The appetite for institutions and everything else, companies, the FASB accounting rules have changed in the United States. Companies in the United States will be able to hold Bitcoin on their balance sheets in a way that they've never been able to before. So I see it much higher. And I know everybody likes 100 grand or 150 grand or $1 million or what. It's just going to be way higher than it is today. That's all I know. Way higher, I think. What do you think?
I think that a lot of the money is going to move into non-Bitcoin assets. That it's only human when people are seeing these huge returns on, for example, Solana and even Ethereum. Even Ethereum going to 12,000, let's say, by next year. And people bought it for 3,500, 4,000, and they've tripled their money. I mean, and a lot of people are putting their money that to be secured, whereas it used to be Bitcoin before. Now it's Ethereum, right? And then pretty soon, it's going to be Solana. So that's what I think. I do think that there is a lot of financialization going on, and I do think that the upside is much, much larger for the majority of non-Bitcoin cryptocurrencies that are in the top, 100, or as you said, ones that they're developing. I think that a lot of money is going to feed into those, and Bitcoin will become more of a store of value where it doesn't go up or down very much. It is just really a store of value, and that might be set in the, maybe around the $100,000 range, something like that. Because remember, Bitcoin, you can slice that up into infinity. A lot of people are like, oh, you won't be able to get a full Bitcoin. It doesn't matter if you got 0.1 of a Bitcoin or a full Bitcoin. I mean, what would you rather have? Do you want 0.1 of a Bitcoin, or do you want a couple of full Solana? Well, humanity says, I want a full one. I can't afford a full Bitcoin, so I'm going to go buy some Solana because I can get more of those. They don't understand the concept about the math and everything. To them, they just want to see the numbers are bigger. And, this silliness is what got me into Doge and this mindset, because I was like, well, it's on the same thing and they're both proof of work, except this one is 0.00082 cents, right? And this one here is, I don't know, it was like 3,200, or I'd have to look up whatever the price of Bitcoin was in September of 2017. So I just bought Doge, and I'm better off for it.
Yeah, I want to show something real quick. I think there's so many ways in which Bitcoin is being financialized, and people are trading specific Bitcoin or Satoshis or ordinals. It's way bigger than the Bitcoin price. It's completely going unnoticed by retail. And that's okay. You got to be pretty nerdy. You have to kind of eat, breathe, like live this stuff. And it's not something everybody either is interested in keeping up with or probably even has the time to do. But let me try and show something.
Yeah, the ordinals were a great idea. That really, I was like, it's about time, because we've had the NFTs on Ethereum now, or there was the NFT craze.
So when I hear people talking about, oh, Bitcoin will only get to this or only to that, or they'll buy the cheaper products or projects, or, I mean, this stuff is crazy. These are the different attributes, right? You got uncommon, rare, epic, vintage. These are different sats. Like, these epic sats are basically created whenever there's basically when you go into a new difficulty rate, or there's a halving, right? So these things are going for well over $100,000, just these sats, these specific sats. So this is almost like we're the collector market, knowing that a specific sat, a specific thing is created in a specific time frame of historical significance. Those just little pieces are going for much more than an entire Bitcoin right now. So kind of cool. I don't know if people knew that, but that's it's it's something that you're not going to see on your CoinGecko or something like that. Okay. Categories got one here. She wants to know about Origin Trail. Origin Trail seems like an interesting token. Any thoughts? Thank you.
I don't think so. I don't have any interest in it. It's been around for a while too, because I heard about it a while ago, but I'm just kind of like.
Yeah, they've tried to rebrand so many times, like, oh, we can do this, so we can do that. They've been around since 2018, and now they're I think they're talking about real world assets. Well, it's obvious which real world asset networks, tokens, and things the legacy players are interested in. They're the ones that they help build out. So I don't see Origin Trail. I don't know. I'm not interested in it. Dan S. Question: how do you feel about the Solana Chapter 2 phone?
I don't feel like it's necessary. I have what's called the number I have for the US is through Afani, and they guarantee, um, like they insure you so that if you get SIM swapped or anything like that. So I mean, there's already phones out there that are, sort of to protect your cryptos. I mean, I think it's a good idea that they're jumping on that and taking advantage of, it's all, I kind of look at it as just merch.
People that get the phone, they're probably going to be entitled to a bunch of airdrops, just like the original phone. And those airdrops are worth so much money now. It's paid for, 50 phones. So I think it's just kind of the marketing thing. It's the way they want to do it. I think they want to reward loyalty. I think it's also a way for them to have some physical products in that ecosystem, and have other ways of generating revenue. So that's what I think about it.